The next question is, Scott, what was your best stop smoking script? And can you send me an example of this script? No for both. Obviously, you probably haven't seen a lot of my work. I don't use scripts. I don't teach scripts. I never use scripts. I don't recommend scripts for this reason. Smoking and stop smoking is a symptom. So how can I write a script based on a symptom? That's number one. Number two, how on earth could you script for something regardless of it being a symptom? Let's say that it is the actual root cause, which it never is. How can you prepare beforehand what you're going to say or what stories or metaphors you're going to use before your client actually gives them to you? What I mean by this is scripting is like presuming what a conversation will be. It's presuming that you know about your client's problem. You're putting your stories, your metaphors, your symbolism, your whatever visualizations, whatever you're doing, you're putting all of those into a prepped up piece of paper that you're now going to read to your client, and hopefully your client associates to that. And I see this a lot. A lot of people will, you're not the only ones ever ask me this. Like a lot of people always ask me, it's the same answer I give them. You'll see them in like a Facebook group. They'll say like, what's the best script for anxiety? What's the best script for PTSD? What's the best script for, like, I heard this one today, driving problems. So using hypnosis to solve driving problems and driving anxiety. That's an impossible question. Because if you think about what a script is, you're now presuming a conversation that your client's going to accept because you're putting your metaphors and your stories and stuff into hoping they associate to those things. But at the same time, if you're now finding a script from somebody else, you're now using the metaphors and strategies and stories they have used probably for their clients, and now you're trying to attach it to your clients. And then that person that gives you the script has probably done it themselves and again and again. And all of a sudden, you've got another guru who's writing out these so-called awesome scripts who are now passing it down the line. But again, it's all violating the same rule. Whoever wrote that script, no matter their experience or how many clients they've seen, are preparing things the way that they see fit for clients that they're going to have in the future, or now giving it to you for clients that you're going to have in the future. And people don't fit into a box like that. So it violates two of the biggest rules. Never use scripts, never taught them. I cannot see how they would work. I understand the mechanics of it, but it violates the biggest rules of therapy. Clients are not all the same. So you can't read the same thing to the same person. It doesn't matter. You might say, well, Scott, I rewrite my scripts for every client that comes in. Well, now you're doing the same thing. You're now rewriting the same thing, sure, with different words. It's just a new cluster of words put into different sentences, different paragraphs, but you're now violating the same rule again. You're now trying to prepare something to feed the symptom, which ultimately is not the smoking, it never is. And now you're trying to prepare things before your client actually sits down in front of you and you work out what the actual root cause is. Smoking, anxiety, fears, they're never the root causes. Okay, so now you're trying to prepare for this stuff. Now I get it, the whole script thing's a good place to start, but they're training wheels. If you want to get really good at therapy and have very quick breakthroughs, not have to sit there and read to people, you need to go beyond just the training wheel stuff, beyond the traditional stuff. Lastly, I guess with scripts as well, and I've talked about this before, is the problem with resistant clients. Now, resistance can come in many shapes and form. I don't just mean resistance to the breakthrough. It could be resistance to trance or coaching, whatever a client says. And you've got to realize this. Resistance will show itself and be alerted once a client knows you're about to start. So as soon as you pull out your piece of paper, you're now telling your client, hey, I'm about to start doing something. And whether the client knows it or not, they might put up some sort of resistance. So if you see your client is not going deep enough, or they're not going along with your suggestions, or basically they're not having the breakthroughs that you've promised them, it's because they've probably got some sort of resistance because they can see you're about to start with your piece of paper. On top of that, you're using the script, which is now you're presuming that you know what your client's going to accept as far as a suggestion based on the symptom they're giving you. This gets really, really messy, as I mentioned before. And now you're trying to control things and take a client down the way that you do therapy instead of trying to figure out the way that they go in a trance, what the therapy needs to have done, the root cause, the associations, the testing, all of that stuff that needs to happen in a proper intervention. You can't record this stuff. If you want to see a great example of what I mean by not being able to prep this stuff and prepare for this stuff, I'll leave a video below of one of the demos that we did at my last 2-day live training. And you'll see me talk about this very thing. We had one of our students who had issues with COVID breathing problems. And the way that she solved her problem was by hallucinating butterflies. And that solved her breathing problems. How on earth, and I took over the session, did the majority of the session, so you'll see that as a breakthrough. How on earth could I prepare for this stuff? So if I was writing a script for COVID breathing problems, I never would have thought to put butterflies in there at all. I wouldn't even know where to start writing that stuff out. Had I gone down the script road, now I'm trying to force my student, who was a client at the time, was Tracy. Now I'm trying to tell Tracy, hey, I know what your problem is, even I didn't at the time. I know how to solve it. I'm going to give you some visualizations, some hallucinations, some symbols based on what I think you should like and what I think you should associate to. And let's hope this actually works. And that's never the case. So go check out that video below. But script-wise, I don't have the best suggestion for you. I don't recommend using them. That's probably the best suggestion you can take away from this. Learn some more advanced therapy. I wouldn't even call it advanced. Learn some more actual breakthrough therapy instead of relying on the scripts and templates and all that sort of stuff. And definitely don't go around asking other therapists and coaches for scripts, because now they're just going to give you their best guess. And it gets very, very messy very quickly. Hope that answers your question. If you are on the script stage, start there, that's fine. But realize over time, if you want to get really, really big breakthroughs with your client, you want to go beyond the scripts, beyond the rigid techniques, and start to think about your clients as someone different every time. Learn some more therapeutic techniques and more advanced techniques to help you get quicker breakthroughs. So hopefully that answers your question.